Okay, let's talk about lens attributes. While everybody's looking at sharpness, they're not looking at anything else. No, it's not alcohol. This has got a really funky taste to it. It's muscadine grape juice. It is very funkadelic. Most people don't know what a muscadine grape is. Some of them are as big as golf balls. It's very... It almost tastes half fermented, but it's not. It's just regular grape juice. It just has a really funky taste to it. I love funky fruit juices, which is probably why I'm fat. But hey, at least I don't drink alcohol, right? I'll just die of like diabetes or a heart attack or something like that. My brain is all I got left, so drinking alcohol is not an option. I don't even like alcohol, actually. Been drunk twice in life. Both those times were in college. I can't actually see any advantage over it. It blows my mind that anybody likes to drink. It's like, oh, you feel okay for about an hour, and then you feel like shit for about 20 hours. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I did that once. Let me see. You're kind of having fun for an hour or two, and then you feel like shit for about 20 plus hours. Yeah, let me do the math. What? I see no joy in it. Oh, I borrowed an insulator. I told you before that glass is a circuit, and that lens designers design lenses as electrical circuits, which they do. They add niobium oxide and various lanthanum oxide compounds to ED glass to change the chromatic aberration convergence of lens and achromatic doublets so that they're able to create lens designs that are rendered the way that they want. The reason why the Sigma lenses and a lot of the current lenses, even some prime lenses, have cyan shift in them. You notice they'll have a cyan tint to them. Obviously that can be corrected out, but the high capacitance lens are red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow. The lenses are shifted out is because the higher capacitance light, like if you're able to shoot a prime, shoot a scenery that has a lot of rich blues in it with like a 4-element prime versus like a 23-element zoom, you'll actually notice that the blues are heavily washed out in like the 23-element zoom lens. You can correct for that to a certain degree, but the actual rendered distortion versus the perceptual depth or the translational depth has been taken out. A lot of people concentrate on how sharp is the lens. How sharp is the lens? Well, how sharp is this lens? How sharp is that? Sharpness isn't everything, okay? You got color rendition, resolution, saturation, depth rendition, contrast, micro contrast, rendered depth, perceptual depth, the translational depth, those last two are the same thing. Coma and vignetting and on and on. There are a lot. It's like, you know, someone buying a crappy car because it's got really nice Tuscan leather seats in it. It's like, oh, I really love these seats. You know, my ass loves the feel of these nice reclining seats. Yeah, well, the car's a piece of shit. Oh, no, I love the seat. You know, buying a lens strictly because sharpness obviously is important. Okay, the IQ of the lens. But that is not everything. There are a lot of lenses that will just blow the crap out of a lot of expensive lenses, more expensive lenses, and they have chromatic aberration, which can be corrected for. But they have special depth, rendered and perceptual depth, and they have incredible color saturation, and people, the experts know about these lenses, and that's the reason why Nikon and others are still making these lenses. However, lenses are now currently being redesigned to accommodate the higher megapixel sensors, which are basically, they're nothing other than full-frame sensors with DX pixel densities. So there's nothing special about them. They're able to take advantage of the post-80 conversion SNR firmware algorithms, which eliminate out the noise. They have their noise compression SNR firmware that's neither Nikon or, those are all trade secrets. They will never tell you that stuff, and every company is stealing everybody else's secrets. They actually backward engineer the SNR firmware in the post-80 processing. People think it just goes from the sensor to your SD card, and that, that of course is bullshit. That's not what happens at all. There's a lot of pathways that signal has to go through before it reaches your SD card or your compact flash card. But anyway, here is I told you before about these glass insulators that would sit on top of electrical lines. When power goes out and they bring the power back on, there'd be a surge through the lines, especially back in the older. Here's one where the glass is missing. It's actually blown out. They usually explode. Power goes back on, these lines, and then they have to crawl up on top of these dangerous power lines back in the day. They still use glass insulators today, but they have a compound additive in them. They're not used like these ones are used. They're actually used in insulators. You can actually see them on the larger power lines, except they're colored glass since they don't look like this anymore. They're clear. They're translucent glass, or they're actually have a dark blue tint. They have an additive in them so that they'll actually ground out and they won't hold capacitance. They're the dielectric permittivity of the glass that makes up those insulators and current compounds has been changed. But here you can actually see it's blowing out. That's due to a power surge. It wouldn't be from a lightning strike, but this is from a power surge, and the glass is blown out right here. When they throw the power back on, you can see in the video I gave you a link to. It's MIT. It's called the dissectable capacitor. But glass is a capacitor, and light is a coaxial circuit. All light, electromagnetic radiation, is a coaxial circuit. Light is evil. Lenses with too much glass in them have issues with actual rendered depth. I'm not talking about perceptual depth, okay, which has to do with the translational depth. I'm talking about rendered depth, which has to do with the microcontrast and the intertonal frequencies that are transmitted through the lens. Part of that is coatings, but not a lot. A lot of it has to do with the nature of the light and how many lenses ultimately. It doesn't matter how good the lens is. The best lenses on earth, and you can talk to lens experts at Zeiss or Nikon if you can ever get a hold of them, which they won't talk to your ass anyway, and they will actually confirm this to you. Glass is a capacitor. Okay, it's the same reason when you get a surge in voltage, not amperage, but surge in magnetic voltages to magnetism is amperages to dielectricity. You get a surge in voltage and the power lines come back on after the power's gone out. What happens is these glass capacitors, they literally explode. The same reason the old microwave bowls. I had somebody tell me they've never heard of a glass bowl exploding on the microwave. Maybe they're pretty young, but I used to see it all the time. They've actually changed the glass bowls. They're called microwave safe, and the reason why they're microwave safe is they have additives in the glass that keep them from holding capacitance. But back in the day, people just throw any old freaking glass bowl in the microwave. Most of the times you get by okay, but sometimes they'd actually crack or explode. Pow! I've seen it myself more than a few times. Glass, silicon dioxide is a semiconductor, okay? That is the reason why glass is evil. A lot of you have bought some of these old prime lenses off my recommendation. You found them in a pawn store really cheap, and you're like, oh my god, I got this $1,000 zoom lens. I've been shooting on my Nikon for 5 or 6 years, and I bought this crappy old prime lens you recommended. I figured, hey, why not? He's owned every lens ever made. Not really, but I mean close to it. And I put it on my camera, and oh my god, the color saturation, and oh my god, the depth, oh my god, my pictures have never looked so good, oh my god! I don't know how many times I've heard that in comments or email. Yes! Yeah, those old lenses have 4 or 5 or 6 elements, so upwards of 10. Ultimately it depends on how thick the element is, of course. But, you people have been shooting some of this high-end stuff, and you're like shocked. Nikon and Canon, well, the Canon not so much, but Zeiss and Nikon, the real hardcore expensive professional lenses don't have that many lens elements in them. They give you incredible depth saturation, rendition. Some of the Zeiss lens sniffers, the people who sniff Zeiss lenses, oh, that's a fine vintage. They'll call it 3D pop or Zeiss pop. I don't give a damn what you want to call it, but it has to actually do with binocular disparity and the parallax of the light's actually transmitted. Ultimately, the point is that light is evil, okay? A lot of these lenses now, it used to be a prime and a zoom were a huge difference. Primes are way over here and zooms are way over here. Now they're redesigning everything to accommodate these larger megapixel, DX pixel density FX sensors. to have perfect corner-to-corner sharpness, and the only way they can do that is by throwing a lot of glass in there, aspherical elements and ED glass. So now instead of primes being over here and zooms being over here, they've kind of come a whole lot closer, and sometimes have actually come like that. So now, that's especially why today people are, giving me these comments like, oh God, I just bought this neat zoom old prime lens that you recommended, and no, this is not alcoholic. And you're going, oh my God, my pictures are so rich and saturated, and the depth and the pop on them is incredible. Yes, that's the reason why. Why? Because glass is evil. Well, we need glass for lenses, so it can't be that evil. Yeah, but glass is evil. Why is glass evil? Because light is a coaxial circuit, and glass is a dielectric capacitor. Silicon dioxide is a semiconductor. You get it now? You get it? You get it? You get it? Good. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Another video from the Crazy Angry Photographer. However, I'm right. I might be crazy, but I'm not wrong. Catch you.